Wait until Emmett comes. Starting life as a young boy in the South, I learned the Lord will provide. As the years grew on, I found myself a holy man, a preacher. Once I began spreading the word of God among local towns, many people got to know who I was. They would request my presence to officiate weddings, purr over dinners, sick loved ones, and the most heartbreaking of all, the death of a loved one. While these events are all just a part of life, they can be difficult at times. I will continually mention to those in need, the Lord will take care of you. I would need to personally keep this in mind myself. As a man of God, it's twice as hard to keep faith when there's so much discourse in this world. Nonetheless, the Lord will take care of me. As I ventured out one beautiful Friday afternoon, well before dusk on my horse, I saw before me a beautiful mountain countryside. My trip would be to a wedding the following afternoon. The travel time from my town to the next would only be a few hours. I figured I would not need to hurry at all and to get into the next town right at dusk. My trip started off rather uneventful. I see a few travelers here and there. I would remind them from time to time, the Lord will take care of us. They would nod in agreement and carry on. About the time I realized the sun was starting to break for dusk, I noticed it was a bit early. It was fall after all, and the sun does set a bit sooner than the summer months. However, when I turned the bend, I noticed a storm rolling up on me. There was no turning back to my own town, and I certainly didn't intend on riding through it for very long. As the wind picked up and the storm beared down on me, I glanced to my right and saw a mansion back off the road. I saw a stable right off the right side of the home. I figured if I could put my horse in there, he could weather out the storm. And at that very moment I thought, the Lord will take care of me. As I approached the house, a sign out front said, "Haunted, abandon all hope, ye who enter here." I laughed at the thought that the local teenagers must be using this old place to scare their girlfriends. After I stabled my horse, a crack of thunder and a flash of lightning lit in the front of the home. I glanced into the window and saw a fireplace and a single chair in the front room. Perfect, I thought. I'll get cozy for the evening and venture out in the morning. After scrounging up some wood off the front porch, I started a fire. The fire burned and the storm raged on, and I read my Bible, diligently as always. As I continued to read, a swift shadowed object entered the room, small enough for me to figure a small critter was escaping the storm, and I was startled by my presence as I was of his. Yet the small shadow appeared before me, a black cat with bright, piercing yellow eyes. He locked his eyes with mine and walked straight into the fire. He picked up a hot coal with his mouth, chewed it for a moment, spit it out, and then stepped out of the fire. He walked towards me and sat down and said, "Wait until Emmett comes." I immediately sought out the word of the Lord in my Bible. I jumped from Genesis to Matthew and proclaimed, "The Lord will take care of me." The cat, he never moved. His gaze fixed upon me, and for a brief moment I saw another shadow move across the floor, this one larger than the last, big as a dog. He walked straight into the fire, laid down in it, and batted a hot coal around. He walked over to the other cat and said, "What shall we do with him?" The first cat replied, "We should not do anything until Emmett comes." At this point, I'm furiously reading my Bible, not believing, seeing, or hearing any of this. They sat there, just watching me with their big, yellow eyes. Out of the corner of the room enters another shadowed figure, another black cat. This one as large as a tiger. He walks into the fire, bats around some hot coals himself. He steps out of the fire, walks to the other cat staring at me, says in a growling tone, "What shall we do with him?" The other cats in unison say, "We shouldn't do anything until Emmett comes." I flipped to Revelations, looked about the room, stood up, looked dead at all three cats staring at me with those big yellow eyes, and said, "Well, I'm really glad of y'all's company, but when Emmett comes, y'all let him know I had to be on my way."